Most traders' mindset is that if they just found the right strategy or the holy grail, then that would fix all of their problems and then they would be able to become profitable. Or some indicator is going to fix everything. And this kind of trader mindset is what keeps 99% of traders stuck, unprofitable, inconsistent, and broke. Okay. And so you have to understand that the 1% top traders think differently. Their trader mindset is different. They have a different psychology, and the way they approach the market is different. Okay. It's not all about strategy. Strategy is just the 10% of the equation. Mindset, psychology, this is 90%. And so in this video, I'm going to go through what a top 1% trader mindset and psychology actually is, what the thought processes are, and what they actually think, because I'm living that. I'm doing that. Okay. I'm actually been trading for 10 years. Okay. And I struggled for a long time until I fixed my psychology and changed the way I was thinking, my mindset. And that was really my breakthrough. That's when everything changed. So this is why I'm so big on this topic, because I understand what the main problem is and what it is that's holding you back, and the thing you need to understand so you have that aha moment and finally click and move on to the next level. So this video, I'm going to go through a couple of things that the top 1% do differently from the 99%, and you're going to learn a thing or two. So make sure you watch this to the end. So let's get started. The first one is that top 1% traders absolutely, without fail, respect risk management. Okay. It's all about risk management with these guys. Okay. With me. Okay. If I don't respect my capital, then I have no capital to trade with. And if I have no capital, I can't trade. Okay. So you have to manage risk like your life depends on it. Okay. And it also means that you have to have a plan for managing your risk so that it is consistent. Okay. You're not trading 1% one day and then 3% the next day and then 0.5% the next day based on your emotions. That is inconsistent risk management. Let's just say you're going into the month and you're going to risk 1%, then it's got to be 1% for the entire month. Then that's how you're going to get your edge to play out over a number of trades. Okay. So you got to stick to one risk parameter. And you have to understand, the thing about risk management is that you make peace with your risk. Okay. You're okay to lose it. You've already said bye-bye to that money temporarily. Okay. And so you do that by not risking too much. You see, if the 99% mindset, the way basically the way the 99% think is that, okay, I got to get rich quick because they're thinking out of lack. Okay, so they're going to risk 10%, 20%, 30% on trying to flip a $100 or $1,000 account, thinking they're going to get rich, and they never really do it. Because the thing is, because when you risk a lot of money and you know that, hey, if like two more trades and you blow your account, right, you're not going to move correctly. You're going to think different. Okay. You're going to be paranoid. You're going to hesitate. You're going to be fearful. You're not going to be able to sleep. So get over this nonsense of whoever's telling you that you can risk 10, 20, 30% and make it overnight and get rich off of that. It's not going to happen. The way you do it is you buy prop accounts, you trade big amounts, and you use small risk. Okay. You risk 1%, 0.5%, 2%. Okay. That's your risk tolerance. Okay. Because when you lose 1%, it's easy to make it back on the next trade, because if you have a 2R and you win the next trade, you'll make that back plus 1%, right? But when you lose 10% on one trade, okay, you have to you have to risk a lot on the next trade to just cover, to get back that 10% that you lost. It's not that simple. It's not as easy as you think, right? I don't know the exact maths, but I think it's like the like if you lost 50% of your capital, it's not another 10% trade is not going to make back that 50%. It's going to take a lot more. Do you understand? You're going to have to risk the entire 50 and hope, if you just win a 1 hour trade, that you'll make it back. So that's how that works. Okay. So it's better to risk small amounts. So keep to the 1%, and then that's how you're going to do it. And I just want to be really clear, because risk management is everything. It should be part of your strategy. Okay. You have to be thinking about risk management all the time, and you have to be comfortable with your risk. Otherwise, you're always going to hesitate. You're going to second guess, and you're going to be trading from emotion. This is the main difference. Okay. So you got to get rid of that. Okay. So let's move on to the next part. And the next one is that the top 1% trading mindset is process over outcome. Always, always. You have to respect the process. If you don't respect your process, you won't get the outcome that you want. You see, the 99% crowd that fail, they're just chasing the outcome. They just want the money because they don't like their situation. They don't want to put in the work. They don't want to work on themselves. They just want to switch strategies and get rich quick. Okay. And that's the big problem. And because they're not respecting their risk management, their capital, they're just trying to make money. See, you have to stop trying to make money in trading. Okay. You got to try to make better decisions. That's the process. Okay. This is the mindset that you have to get into, and you have to think like this if you want to succeed. And so it really is coming down to falling in love with your process. And your process is bigger than what you think. Okay, let me tell you what the process actually is. The process starts on Sunday, from your analysis on Sunday. You do your market analysis on Sunday, and then during the week you have your back testings in the morning, 1 hour a day, your training. Okay, you have to do that. That's part of your identity, is your process. And then you have your trading process. You got your checklist, you got your journaling. Okay, all of this stuff. You have your meditation, you go for your walks, the whole thing, your whole lifestyle becomes your process. Okay, you live your life, your whole life. You eat clean, you go to the gym, you don't go party, you don't do degenerate, stupid shit. You do everything. Your whole lifestyle becomes part of your process, just to so that you can take that one trade perfectly. Does that make sense? That's the difference. You see, the 99%, they're all over the place. They're doing this, they're doing that. They want to be here, they want to watch that. They eat like shit. They don't go to the gym, they don't sleep, they don't do nothing. And then they want to show up to the market completely without any discipline and expect to win in the market. It's never going to happen. So, they just want to come up and make money, like as if the market owes them money. It doesn't work like that, right? So you have to change your lifestyle. This is why I'm so big on the whole self-improvement part, the mindset, and the whole thing, because that is the thing that gets you the result, right? You cannot put rice oil into a Ferrari and expect to go top speed, right? You got to put the right oil, the right stuff in, so that you get the result that you want. And that's your process. It's like going to the gym, right? You don't go to the gym once and think you're going to get big, right? You don't back test for one weekend and think you're going to understand everything. No, you do back testing every day, 1 hour a day. That's what the top athletes do. That's part of their daily process. That's part of the routine, right? You backtest every day for 1 hour. You know why? Because that's how you build your pattern recognition. You gotta reprogram your mind into recognizing patterns. Okay, and that's how you know your edge. Okay, you don't just like try to remember it and then improvise and make things up and try to expect to make money. So you have to get out of the end result. You have to stop caring about the money and focus on yourself, on being a better person. Commit. Trading is the only thing that is going to expose your inner self, right? The market is a reflection of you, okay? It's a reflection of you, and if you're a mess, then your process is a mess. And if you cannot handle yourself, you can't handle the process, how are you going to make any money? Does that make sense? And now the last one that I want to talk about is basically neutral emotional. So the 1% trader mindset, their emotions are neutral. Okay, they don't have emotions. They are stoic. They're stone cold. We are stone cold people. Okay, like nothing can upset you. Okay, that's how you got to be if you want to be a trader. You don't get greedy. You don't get fearful. You don't hesitate, you don't stutter, you don't mince your words, you don't do any of that, right? You're very intentional and precise about the way you do things, okay? And you just don't react to bullshit. You don't react to the market, you don't get impatient, you don't FOMO. And you don't get there by just getting there, okay? You have to do the shadow work. You have to do the internal work, okay? And if you want to do the inner work, it's in the link in the description, the Inner Edge Pro. That's my psychology, inner self-development for traders course. You can check that out. But you have to understand that your negative emotions and your positive emotions are the things that are driving you in the market, making you react or not react and behave a certain way. And let me give you an example, right? If you go on a date and you're in love with this person, and then the song comes on for the first time, and you both of you hear that song, now every time you hear that song, you're going to get that good feeling, and it's going to remind you of that date that you went on, or with that person, right? That's the positive experience. But the same is true with a negative experience, right? So if you have a negative experience and something triggers it, you're going to have the negative reaction, and you're going to repeat. It's like a repeating subconscious pattern, okay? It's like the music. Every time you listen to that song and you hear it, you cannot not think of that person. It's the same with the negative. And for the negative, it could be from things like from your childhood. Okay, so for instance, like unworthiness, like somebody kept telling you you're unworthy, so you don't deserve anything good. So then, like, you give your profits away. You make some money in the week and then you give it all back because you don't think you're worthy of it, or you're scared of making money. Okay, or you have a lack mentality from your childhood because maybe you didn't have a lot of things. Maybe you were always in scarcity mode when you were a kid, and that makes you greedy in the market, right? Or you are fearful of being wrong because you were always in trouble when you were a kid. When every time you did something wrong, you would get into trouble, or if you had to be right. Okay, like, this is also conditioning from your school, your early days. All of this stuff is stuck in you, okay? And you got to get it out. You have to get it out. And that's what my course is all about, the Inner Edge Pro. But you have to get it out. You have to clear yourself of this stuff so that you can trade with clarity. You can trade and be stone cold and neutral, so that you don't get greedy, you don't get fearful, and you don't make mistakes, right? Once you're like stable and 100% like in a good place, then you can like look at your process, respect it, not rush into trades, take trades, and just be clear-headed and make good decisions, right? Trading is not about doing more, it's about making better decisions in the right frame of mindset, right? That's the sauce, right? That's the 90% of trading, okay, of like everything. And you have to understand this. You have to master your emotions, okay? And you have to do the shadow work, and you have to work on yourself. That's how you level up. And yeah, if you're new to my channel, go ahead, like and subscribe. Drop your comments below. Let me know what kind of mindset stuff that you're struggling with, where you keep falling over, and what you're struggling with. I want to know so that I can make videos and help you and get better, right? And like, subscribe, okay? Check out the course if you want to work on your psychology. It has to be a course. I cannot put that stuff for free onto the internet, obviously, because there's a lot of valuable content and information there. So we work on everything in there. We have revenge trading, we have fear, we have greed. All of these modules are designed specifically to get rid of those emotions. So check that out if that's what you want to do. I'm going to love you and leave you. Until the next video, you're on your own. Take care now. Goodbye.